Hi everybody. In this video section we are going to see the meaning of productivity and other related terms. Okay, so the productivity means is an organized activity of transforming raw material into finished product which have higher values. So what is productivity? So the productivity is when you are transforming your raw material into finished product, that is called productivity. So productivity is the ratio between output into input. Okay, so that is productivity. The productivity is defined output divided by input. So to increase the productivity, the ratio of output to input is made as large as practical. Okay, according to Peter's Ducks, the productivity is defined as productivity means a balance between the factor of production that will gives the maximum output with the smaller effort. So when we get a maximum output, we will get a maximum profit with a smaller effect. So it is called productivity according to Peter Drucks. The next one is, what is total productivity? The concept of total productivity is defined as the total output to the sum of input of all resources. So the total output is the ratio between total tangible output into total tangible input. So what is total tangible output? What and all it comes into the tangible outputs? Your finished goods and your partially finished goods, semi finished goods, and your security interest and like other incomes. So all together is called your total tangible output. Then what comes total tangible inputs? So your human resources, your material, your capital and your energy and other input used is called total tangible input. Now we move on to the procurement procedure. So here it's various steps is given. So number one is receipt of purchase requisition. Second one, potential sources of supply. Then issue of letters inviting quotation, receipt and analysis of quotations, selection of vendor, purchase order, analysis of receiving report, scrutiny and approval of invoice. So these are the various steps in procurement procedure. Okay. So what is receipt of purchase requisitions? So the procurement procedure, it's begin with the receipt of purchase requisition, isn't it? So it is a starting point. It provides the purchasing department authorization to initiate action for procuring the required material. Okay, the components like and supplies. The purchase requisition may be issued by the production control department, or you can say it may be a store department, or any various department which is related with purchasing. Okay, so it contain detail as to the material which has to be purchased and the quality inspection and how much quantities you have to purchase and when they have to place order and when they have to place a delivery. Okay, so the time and place of delivery, so everything will be there in the receipt of purchase requisition. So it is depends, it is belongs to the department of purchase department, or you can say it's a store department, or it's based on the organization structure. Okay, the second one is potential source of supply. So the potential source of supply means when the purchase requisition is received in the purchasing department, the purchasing executives look for the potential source of supply. Generally, the purchasing department maintain a list of approved supplies for every item purchased by the company. Okay, so it is reviewed periodically to add the names of new supplier and delete the name of those who have ceased business or whose supplier or services have proven to be unsatisfactorily. Okay, so this is our second steps. Once the purchase department receive the requisition order, the purchasing executives they will look after the source of supply. Okay, so who is the supplier, they have a list of details, the who is the supplier, and if they want to add the supplier details they will add, and if they want to remove the supplier details they will remove, because if they are not satisfied with the supplier. Okay, then issue of letter. Third one is issue of letters inviting quotations. So the purchasing department issue letter to approved supplier. Okay, they have a list of supplier, no. So this purchasing department they will issue letter to the approved supplier requesting them to send the quotations. Okay, this letter contained full information pertaining to the material required, how much quantity they required, how much what is the quality specification in details, everything it will be there in that letter. Okay, so delivery schedule and place of delivery, so all those things will be there in the letter. In order to enable the purchaser to decide intelligently and to avoid future complications, the potential supplier are often requested to provide detail about additional charges if any in respect of packaging, handling, transportations, so everything, sales tax, everything. So you have to attach all those things. Okay, so this is a detailed letter about which material you need, what quantity and what quality you need. Okay, this is coming under third steps. The next one is a receipt and analysis of quotation. So here the quotation received from the potential supplier are open and signed by the responsible officer. A comparative statement of quotation is made indicating your price, their price, terms and conditions of the payment, and discounts rate, everything. So it is analyzed to identify the supplier whose offer is the lowest price and most favorable terms and conditions. So this analysis coming under your fourth step. So once you receive the quotation, so you will get a quotation from various supplier, no. So you have to made a comparative statement. So how much price they are going to give, and what is their offer, and when they are going to provide, and what kind of price indications is there. So what is their terms and conditions, guarantees, warranties. So everything you have to put it in a one comparative statement, and then you have to started analyzing it. So this is coming under your fourth step. Once you receive the quotation, you have to analysis based on the other competitor, other supplier. Okay, the next one is vendor, selection of vendor. So it is also it is always not necessary to select the vendor when offer the lower placed and most favorable terms and conditions. So the purchasing executive has to consider various other factors. So okay, not only your low price and your favorable terms and conditions, the other factors also involved in that. Okay, before selecting the vendor you have to consider the other factors. So what is the other factors? So the vendor on that business and what experience they have previously, and his capability and source to supply the required material, and his willingness to accept the rejected material without any argumentation. Okay, and accommodation relating to cancellation of order and other conditions. Okay, so these are the various conditions also you have to think over before selecting your vendor. Is it clear? So not only the low, so one supplier is giving low price, in the sense you should not select that supplier. You have to check whether the supplier have previous experience, or if you cancel the order whether the supplier will accept, or if you reject certain items whether the supplier will change that materials. So all those things you have to consider, then only you have to select your vendor. The next one is purchasing order. Okay, see, once you selected your vendor, so you have to give the order to the vendor. So the purchasing department or executive, he has to issue a purchasing order to the vendor, it should contain all the informations about what kind of material you need, what is the quantity of material, and how much you are going to purchase, quality you need, and you have to give the detailed specification of the material, like prices and what specification you required, and time and place of delivery. So everything should be there in that purchase order. Okay, the purchase order when accepted by the vendor, so there will be a contract between you and the vendor. Okay, so according to the terms and condition of the vendor, which is stipulated in the quotation, the vendor has to provide that material to you. Okay, so once the vendor is accepted the purchase order, so there will be a contract between you and vendor. So you can make an own agreement, like a purchase agreement you can make according to the terms and conditions of both the parties. Okay, so after that you have to follow up and you have to deliver. So the purchaser's job does not end with the issuing of purchasing order. Okay, so you are running a business, you are giving a purchasing order. Once you send a purchasing order, your job is not end with that. Okay, you have to follow up to ensure that deliver received that order in a stipulated time or not. So you have to ensure, and you have to check whether they have according to their specifications or not. Okay, in case where a timely delivery, if it is not possible, then it is a loss to the company. So you have to follow up all such things. Okay, the time, if they are not able to deliver within the stipulated time, so it should not make a loss to your company. So for that you can increase the penalty, you can impose the penalty to the supplier for late delivery also. So the follow up is very important. So once the purchase order is done, then your duty is you have to follow up. Okay, the next step is analysis of receiving a report. Okay, so here when you got a material from the supplier, so you have to check whether it is according to your specifications or not. Okay, that is called inspection by quality control and verified by the store department. Okay, so if you have any problem with the material, like shortage or damage, if anything, so you have to communicate to the supplier. Okay, so if it is not proper according to your specification which is given in the purchase order, or according to your engineering design, or in what the sketch you have given, no, the blueprint, so if it is not match according to your design, then you have to communicate to the supplier, ask them to take back that rejected material, and you can get the fresh consignment. So the next one is scrutiny and approval of invoice. And this is the last step in the purchasing of cycle. So once you received your material from the vendor, so the invoice you received from supplier are sent to the purchasing department for verification with reference to the purchasing order and inspection report and receiving department's report. Okay, so the material has been received in the ordered quantity, so that you have to check whether material is received in the ordered quantity or not. Okay, so the purchasing department are approved according to their inspections or not. Okay, once, and then that invoice which is provided by the vendor, that you have to forward to the accounting department for the further process like payment. Okay, so this is the last step. Okay, so these are the steps it's coming under our procurement procedure. Okay, I hope you understand this video. Thank you.